Hello and welcome to my introductory video series for programming in Python. If you haven't watched my previous videos about an introduction to the command line, I'll link that in the description, but this is the environment that I'm going to be using, the command line. I've explained all the commands you'll need to do exactly what I'm doing. If you don't want to write this way, I've provided some alternatives in that video series, so you should check it out in the description. I might even put a little information link in the corner. But we're going to be learning a few basic commands in Python. So, if you type Python, and this apparently Unix has Python installed by default. If you get this problem, you just have to type Python 3 and you'll get the most recent version in your system if you've installed it. Just go check the command line video series out and that'll explain all that. If you have it on Windows, you just type Python because Windows doesn't have Python installed by default, so you have to install it, and if you do, you'll have the most recent version. But I'll be using this Windows terminal. And so I said we would be following this document at python.org, the documents for the tutorial. This first section just talks about what Python is used for and how you can use it with other languages and stuff. So we'll just gloss over this. And this one talks about how to use the interpreter, which is what I'm using right here. This is the interpreter. If you just call Python like this, we might not stick around in the interpreter for very long, just because that's not normally how you'll use the programming language. You'll make a script, or you'll make a program file and use it that way most of the time. But the interpreter is a nice way of playing around with data and information. So we'll start here, an informal introduction to Python. In this chapter, looks like they cover number, strings, and lists. And I'll try to keep my videos kind of in the same vein as these, because I have been trying to make them 10 minutes-ish, make them more digestible. But the last few videos in the command line video series have been very long indeed, and I don't intend to keep making them that long. I want people to be able to sit and watch and think about and then try out what I'm doing and then move on to the next video. So in here we're just talking about I'll do these until they get more complicated. I'll do it in the interpreter. So then here it introduces how to use numbers in here. So I'll do the same. So Python I have shown at the very end. So basic printing works like you can do exactly what they're doing here and just type things in. 2 plus 2, 4. 5 divided by 2, 2.5. It's not dependent on how much space is here. You can do it like this. I don't know if you can. Yeah, you can even do it like this. It's not sensitive to the amount of space between the characters. Like I had shown that Bash is sensitive to that kind of stuff. But Python is still sensitive to white space in regards to making conditionals. So you can have any of the following operators: binary operators, meaning that they take an operand on either side of the operator, and an operand is just what you would call the number 5 here plus 3. 3 and 5 are operands, and then the plus is an operator. It needs these two. Just getting into semantic meaning, this doesn't mean the same. Plus 3 doesn't make sense. Plus 3 to what? You need at least one other operator. And just to demonstrate that this just says 3. It assumes 0, but really this could have been garbage. So it's better to be clear in what you're trying to do. If I saw someone writing +3 somewhere, I'd ask them what they meant by that. We're not trying to. You need to be succinct when you're doing these things, and that just means being clear and precise about what you're talking about. So operators you have for math or numbers are divide, times, minus, plus, and you've seen these. They're the typical 4. You also have a few ones that are specific to Python, such as double /, which is an integer division, whereas this one's a floating point division, and I'll demonstrate that in a second. You also have double asterisk, which is kind of like a power. It elevates the next number to be a power of the first number. And you have modulus, which is it returns the remainder. So if you think about integer division, this returns the last number that divided a number, whereas modulus returns the remainder of that number. And again, I'll demonstrate these things in a second. Let me see if it goes over anything else. Modulus, it looks like that's it. And of course you have equals, which is assignment. But this isn't strictly used on math. Although data is data, so this could probably be interpreted as something. But one equal sign is assignment, and it will always be assignment in Python. So let me scoot some of this up. For division, I showed 5 divides 2, or 2 divided by 5. I didn't even say that right. 5 divides 2. It's not the same thing. I'm thinking about discrete math. It's not the same thing. So you see here you got 2.5. So 2 goes into 5 2.5 times. Now if I did this number again and I did double /, it'll only give me 2. It rounds off this decimal and only returns 2. And this kind of gets into data types a little bit, and I'll talk about data types maybe in the next video. But again, I'm trying to follow along with what they're talking about. And you also have the double asterisk, which is 5 to the power of 2. So this would be 25. And you can change that 5 to the power 3, 125. So this just elevates it to a power. Now this symbol doesn't represent a mathematical operator. This caret symbol will come into play later on, but right now, if you were writing it out on a computer, like in a search bar, you would write 5 caret 3, 125. And your search bar, I don't think, would recognize this. Yeah. Oh, it does. So it treats it the same way, though. It treats it as a caret. But in Python, you write it with a double asterisk for power. Modulus returns the remainder of a division. So if you said 5 and then the percent sign and then 2, you're going to get 0. You're supposed to get 0.5. The reason it's doing this is because of data types. So you need to make them, what? Why is it 1? Oh. Okay, so the reason, so what is half of 2? That's 1. So the remainder here, 1/2 times 2 is 1. That's why it's 1. We did 10 modulus. It might still have issues. We did 10 modulus 3, we get 1, because 3, 6, 9, there's 1 left. And if we make this 14, there's 2, because 12 is the last even divisor of this before 13 or 15. So there's 2 as a remainder. And I don't know if you'll have issue, say if we did 2, oh, and if there's no remainder, it returns 0. Okay. And if we make it a big number, it has 2 as the remainder because it never divided. So you can think of it as the fraction that's left over after the division. And you can chain these things together. There's an order of operations with numbers that occurs. So multiplication and division happen before addition and subtraction. But anything, same with how normal math works. Anything inside parentheticals happens first. So if we did 2 plus 3 times 5, this should be 17. But if we put parentheticals around this addition, you'll see we get 25, because 5 times 5 is 25. You can't put numbers next to parentheticals how you would see in normal algebraic notation, so this won't mean anything to Python. You'll get this error, an int object is not callable, because it thinks that this is a function. If you remember, I said that print, you needed parentheticals like this, because if you try to print something, print a string, hello, like this, it'll tell you you're missing parentheticals around print. Now Python 2, you didn't need to have parentheticals around this. And just to demonstrate, you can't call hello without having quotes around it because it doesn't know what hello is. You have to tell it it's a string and then it'll print hello. You can even see that they don't need to be next to each other. But it's thinking that 5 in this statement here is a function like print is. And I'll go over in the next video about strings, because this is long enough, so I'm going to split it here. And join me in the next one when we discuss strings and string literals.